Hey everybody, Rima from Eureka Fabrics here with a super quick tutorial on our instant picnic blanket. The idea behind this project is you don't really want to take your heirloom quality quilt and throw it on the ground and have it get all dirty and nasty and have to toss it in the washer multiple times. The idea behind this is to do a really quick, fun project, down and dirty, get her done so you have something nice to sit on when you go out on a picnic and you don't mind throwing it in the washer a million times. Now I'm doing a much reduced size so you can see what I'm doing. We recommend doing this with 1.5 yards of each of your fabrics and 1.5 yards of fusible fleece. So you're basically going to trim off all of your selvages and make sure that your fabrics and your fleece are all the same size. And then we're going to pick one of our fabrics, doesn't matter which one, and we're going to fuse our fleece to the wrong side. This is the glue side of the fleece. So I'm just going to take my iron and press this on. Done. Now they're stuck together. And we're going to take our fabrics, go right sides together, and we're going to leave an opening on one side, doesn't matter which side, basically sew all the way around the edge. I like a 1/2 inch seam allowance on this, but do whatever you like. And we're going to leave an opening big enough to get your hand through just so you can turn it right side out. So I'm going to go ahead and start here, sew all the way around, stop there so I have my opening, and I'll meet you back here. I do want to mention one thing about sewing this together. It really doesn't matter if your edges are exactly together or not. Doesn't matter. What matters is that everything is absolutely flat. And you will also find that by having the fabrics going in the same direction, meaning this is your warp thread and this is your weft, that will keep it from shrinking differentially. Also helps if your fabrics are from the same manufacturer, but not always. They're all the quilting cottons are pretty much the same. And if you're using linen, that's even more stable. Although with linen, especially if they're not the same manufacturer, you might want to pre-wash. You could pre-wash these too, up to you. All right, so as you can see, I've sewn around my edges. I've left my opening. Before I turn this, I'm gonna cut my corners really close to that stitching because we want to be able to get a nice corner on this. Just make sure you don't cut your stitches. And one more. But I'm going to leave the rest of the seam allowance in there because what that does when you turn it is it gives the edges of your blanket some stability. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this right side out and press it, and then we'll go to the next step. Right, I've turned my blanket. We've got that little opening there. And the next thing we're going to do is top stitch around the edges. That will all make your blanket more stable and will also close up that, that little opening that you turned it through. Now, if you want to get fancy, what I like to do when I have contrasting fabrics like this is I'll put blue on my top thread and red in my bobbin thread so that the top stitching will match. You could do it opposite and do contrasting stitching, but you're braver than I am because if you're doing contrasting, it has to be like perfect. I also recommend that you sew with the side of your blanket that is not attached to the fleece. Sew with that up where you can see it because the fleece is going to keep this fabric from stretching, but this one is going to want to like rumple on you like that. So you're going to want to watch it very carefully. I might pin it down. I also might take some stitch witchery in there and glue that sucker down so it can't stretch on me. That would be a really good idea. I think I'm going to do that. There we go. Top stitching around the edges. I did the red on this side and the blue on this side just for fun. All right, now you could call this done, but I'm going to recommend that you don't, because when this is a bigger piece, you can see that the layers are going to come apart. So I would do a little bit of quilting on this. Also because the fusible fleece might stick through 20 washes, but probably won't stick through 50 washes. And if you're throwing this on the ground at a picnic, you're going to want to wash it often. So I'm going to suggest that you quilt this. Now, you don't have to like do fancy long arm quilting. You can just do like straight lines going through like this and like that. You can do diagonals, anything that you can just like cram this through your machine. It's not that big. You should be able to get it through your machine. Make your life easy and maybe use a Choco liner to mark where you want your lines to be. That will help you sort of follow it. Wow, that actually looks pretty close. I'll measure that before I actually sew. Go ahead and do whatever quilting you want to do on this, however fancy or not fancy you want to get. And then you can call it done and you've made an instant picnic blanket. Hope you had fun sewing with me today, and we'll see you soon. And here it is, our miniature version. You can see that I've done stitching just in like box baffles like that, like you'd see on a comforter. And yeah, it looks nice. And I wouldn't mind throwing this on the ground, getting it all dirty, and tossing it in the washer. So I hope you guys had fun sewing with me today, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.